BooBaes. BooBaes.
Go time! Bow time! Hey,
Hello,
I'm Caitlin,
and I'm Joshua.
and this is
BooBaes.
BooBaes. That's right. A horror movie review-ish podcast with us, your two bays.
You get to just hear us talk about horror and
And booze.
all the thrills and scares.
The boo-boos. The BooBaes.
And then we give whatever movie we're talking about a boo rating.
A boo rating on a scale of 1 to 5 boos. It's just like a star rating,
But better
but better.
and scarier
Yeah.
and cuter.
You should only go with us. Anyone else? Irrelevant. We have the end all, say all. Say all, end all. I don't know.
Alpha and Omega. Oh, no. Let me not say
Alpha and Omega when it comes to horror movies.
that.
So,
It is. It was a little raspy this morning. Let me clear that out.
we're a little rusty too. We had some tough weeks,
Yeah.
didn't we?
It was pretty heavy weeks.
Yeah.
Dealing with death.
Lots of death. So
Death.
much death. Why?
There's just,
I can't do anything but laugh at it
yeah,
because
honestly.
otherwise I'll just cry.
So yeah, that's a part of life though, and you know,
Mm.
and if anything, here we are talking about horror movies. So
Yeah.
death.
And that's a lot of death.
That's the best kind though, because
Yeah.
you know it's in the movie, it's fictional.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
really
not real.
affecting you. But what we're going to be talking today did affect me when I watched it back in the day.
That's true. Me as well.
2002's The Ring,
The Ring. Yes. So not the original.
which was in 1998.
Yes, the Ringu,
Mhm.
as you might say it, or it's the ring in parentheses, but it has a U
Mm-hmm.
on the end. But we can watch that one soon. It's on Shudder.
It is.
Sponsor us, Shudder, please.
Throw out there. But yeah, it's was directed by Gore Verbinski.
He did the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm,
How fun!
Isn't that like what a collection of, you know, you
Yeah.
go from that into that.
There were other ones too, like other movies in there that I was like, okay,
Well, that's
So,
good. It's
this guy's
versatile.
kind of, he can do a little bit of everything. So I have a few personal anecdotes from this movie when I was a kid. Did you have anything like,
Well-
how did you feel when you first watched it?
I'm trying to remember how old I was when I watched it, but I can't. I know I was like, because it came out in 2002, but I didn't watch it when it first came out because I was only like, I
8.
can't do math. 4, 6, 8. I was 8.
Yeah.
So I think I watched it more like 12-ish. But the thing is, I watched it home alone. Like, no, I wasn't alone. My bad. I watched it. My parents were there. It was just my parents there. But like
But they
I
weren't
watched
watching it
No,
with you.
no, and it was like it was like 1, 2 in the morning, like on
Oh.
a Saturday night.
Perfect
like,
time to watch that.
Literally. So I was just there, like traumatizing myself. And yeah, it really, especially, I guess we'll get to it, but there's a few scenes in it where it's just like, it sticks with you, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sure does.
Especially within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. They really hop into it with this one. When I first watched it, I saw it when it came out on tape or video. So I remember watching it at home.
The irony.
Yeah, I know. And so I watched it probably, I'm assuming that was maybe 6 months to a year later after it came out. So probably 2003. So I probably was around 9. And I watched it. I think my brothers were there, but my parents weren't. I don't know. But we watched it. Now, watched it in the middle of the day, but when that film came out, we still had landlines and everything. Like, I didn't have a cell phone. And so, you could star 69 people.
Yeah.
And so prank calls were going around rampant. I think I'd gotten them at other times too.
But it's just that you
one
had just
was
watched
so well timed that literally the film had just clicked off from that little, at the end, you know how it shows they're copying the tape and stuff. And it's got the last little blips of the images and then it
Cuts
goes
to
black.
Yeah.
And my phone rang. at the house, and I'm pretty sure my parents probably just weren't home. That seems fair. Probably just my brothers and I. But I go and pick up this phone, and it's a goddamn prank call of someone going, 7 days. And I about shit a brick. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna die. And I'm like, I've killed my brothers.
It was all your fault.
I know. I was like, oh God, I've done this to us.
You're like, quick, we need to go get another VHS.
We have to make a copy.
You just see like an image of your hand over your brother's hand.
Okay, honestly, I hated that scene because his fingers were like bending back so far. And I was like, what are those little... gross. I don't know. His hands were fucking
his whole
freaky.
Performance, the whole movie, the little creepy little kid.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't not have a creepy little boy.
Aiden.
Yeah. It was like a Damien type name.
Yeah, that's like even the name gives off the creep.
Yeah, exactly. Him the whole time, and the way he calls his mom Rachel. I'm just like, he's like, what is it? You don't understand, Rachel? I'm like,
why would you do that, you stupid bitch?
Yeah, I'm like, sit down, kid. But and he also don't put enough peanut butter and jelly on his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That scene always bothered me.
Against humanity.
It was like it didn't get to the edges, and then he just puts it together, and I'm like, you're just eating like sticky bread at this point, sir. Anyways.
So let's I guess go back to the beginning.
Oh wait, I have one more.
Go for it.
Or anecdote. So my brothers and I, we had a PlayStation growing up. And at one point they came out with this, like, it was like a video camera where you could like go in and it like kind of put you in the game with the PlayStation. I don't remember what it was called, but like it videoed you and then you could like do the interact with the game. But then it also kind of worked as like a little camera. So my brothers had like set it up outside their room to be like, ooh, let's see who's coming, blah, 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 or whatever. And then, I had stringy, long, black, brownish hair, dark brown hair, black when wet hair. And so one time I got my hair wet, flipped it over, and then put on this like dingy ass t-shirt or something that was white, and then like came up walking like that creepily to the screen. And then they just like lose it and run out and they're screaming, and then they realize it's me. But that was a fun prank I pulled on them. Probably about when I was 12.
I love the whole. It's like a production. We moved to that.
Yeah, I really worked on it. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be some good." Thought into that. And it's just like the middle of the day in the summer. It's not even like spooky time. I'm just like, I think I'll be Samara today.
No, I love that.
So I did.
I grew up in a house where my dad liked to scare us.
Oh yeah.
And then that transitioned into me scaring my sisters. And sometimes
I've been traumatized. Now it's your turn.
Right. Sometimes they'd scare back, and now that's led to like me scaring Nancy. But honestly, Nancy scares me a lot.
Oh really?
But
just on accident?
Yes.
she just walks around.
She just walks up. Yes. And I like lose my shit. I'm like startled completely.
To be fair though, y'all's house is
you had that experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, it's a new build, but who knows what the land it's over.
Yeah, the land. New build don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing. You could have a curse. You've already checked for all them hex bags, so you good.
Yeah, we checked. So the movie, back to the beginning, I guess if anybody hasn't watched it, basically, there is a VHS tape that's circulating around, and if you watch it, you have, I'm like, who doesn't know this, but if you watch it, you only have 7 days to live.
Exactly.
And so we're following Rachel, who at the beginning of the movie, her niece and her friend, I don't remember the friend's name, but
Becca.
Becca, there we go. They are watching a videotape.
Wonderful actress.
Well, right? But also too, like the way she's what was the niece's name? Kate, yeah. Like she's like, oh well, I might die, but here, you watch this too.
Yeah,
like,
here, let me.
Yeah.
It's like when something smells bad, and you're like, this smells awful. Here, smell it
too.
Yeah, it's like, this could kill me, but let me show you.
Yeah, for real.
Just in case. If I'm going down, you're coming down with me.
So this scene, whenever that's all happening, and Kate dies, and then like they go back and they show like her face like all disfigured.
I remember that scene kind of fucked me up as a kid.
That for real for me. Like I kept seeing, I would see that face like the next few days, just like burned into my
Well,
mind.
that's kind of what Samara's goal was.
And that's exactly what. So it's so funny, the parallels, because it's I looked it up. I think it's called it's something ography.
Yeah. Hold on, I got it
where
here.
you can burn psionically images into other people's minds.
Mm-hmm. I will say, so I've liked this movie because I mean it had an impact on me as a kid. But I will say I have a lot more appreciation for it after doing a little bit of research and in what they did. I was like, oh shit. So it's called Ninja, and it's like a power thought photography, and it's a psychic ability that allows a person to project images in the exterior world through thoughts alone. And so it can burn the image into things. So like it burned the image of the handprint on their arm, image of the tree on the wall, image of this girl's face into your head.
And then the images on the like photograph papers and like when they're interviewing her. And
I just think, and they are.
Literally. The new hashtag.
She's pretty. I mean, she did a good job. Like, honestly, that girl should have gone in to do a little bit more. Because, like, I mean, it was, like, kind of cringy, but then also when she was like, but I do want to hurt, like, or she's like, but I'm sorry, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so that same actress is the voice of Lilo from Lilo and Stitch.
Good. Yeah.
Also versatility. She's got a good repertoire there. Yeah. Like, where are they now? Like, I was Lilo, but I was That's Samara.
She's got a good resume.
IMBD.
That now Aiden don't. He was in a few other things, but he didn't really do much anything else. I think now he's an attorney.
Oh, well, good for him.
Yeah, he's still got them crazy weird bug eyes. So.
That seems fitting, actually. But yeah, so that image of her face alone like freaked me out when I was watching it that night, and I just kept thinking about that. And then right after that, so we're diving into Rachel Herhant, who's the reporter, and
I feel like it also adds more to closets too.
Oh, right, yeah.
She was in her closet.
She was in
right?
her closet, yeah.
Yeah, and so like not only to be watching that in your room alone at night as a kid, and then have that keep flashing in your head, but then to like have a closet, and
I had a closet.
Closets are already scary, even as an adult. I cannot sleep with my closet doors open. Like they have to be closed.
I sometimes fall asleep with open, but there are some times where it's like, let me close it.
Yeah. No, I make a hard point to never leave those motherfuckers open.
Because a coat and a hanger can look like a lot of things at night.
Soaked in the pile of my clothes sitting in my chair that I need to put up. It's real good motivation. When I see some bitch sitting there at 3 a.m. looking at me, it's like, ah!
It's like a doll holding the dolls.
Yeah, I'm like, I already have enough haunted imagery around my house.
But yeah, that's really cool. So like you were saying, I too kind of did a little bit more research and watched it again, and like it's like it felt like they were aiming pretty high. He was aiming pretty high with like, concepts there within the movie. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of subliminal messaging. So not only were there those little flashes in the film itself of like the ring that would, I don't remember what that's called, when they flash like a scary image so fast though that your mind, like, you don't subconsciously recognize it, but your mind is
I get what you mean.
Taking it in.
I don't know the word for it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I tried to find the word and I could not. But like, I mean, I saw multiple times the ring flash real like millisecond on the screen. And so that alone, it's a big common horror tactic. I know it happens a lot, but that alone, I was like, oh, okay. And
because it works in well with the theme too of like, this is all centered around a videotape. Like it's all VHS. And then like, even when you're watching them and they're like trying to like, fuck with the I forget what it's
to stretch the frame or whatever,
just to see it. And
I don't know what that is.
So it's just it's kind of all parallel to each other.
So. I read that they even went as far as like to put like circular images into the wallpapers a lot and or the carpeting, so like into the actual like build itself they were putting in this ring to just keep it in. And then like of course right before Homeboy dies at the end, before the iconic television scene, he picks up his coffee mug and there's the ring. So they really
it's like everywhere, so you can't not escape it.
They made a hard point. And then of course recreating the actual images from the film, it's the VHS itself throughout the entire film, like with the horse's eye and of course, then like coming across the news clippings, the centipede thing. Yeah. Is that a centipede or is that a millipede? I don't know the difference. Whatever that creepy crawly is.
Yeah, I know. I think it was a
centipede. Ooh, I will say also that suicide in the bathtub also had me pretty fucked up as a kid. Shocking. That's right.
It was a light show.
It was like, God damn, he really went all
really wanted
out.
to go out. He was like, there's no mistaking this. Like, don't want to be a vegetable.
I'm surprised that didn't like just blow up the whole fucking house, honestly.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
It's tragic.
Like watching it again, I was like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Could have just like,
it's overboard. You could have just put
scotch and some pills or something.
Yeah, or you could have just put a hairdryer in there.
There you go.
You know? But then you could end up like, what's that movie? What Women Want? Whatever, where he gets like shocked and then all of a sudden he can read women's minds. Anyways, that's not
Mel
a horror
Gibson?
film. Yeah, I'm
okay.
pretty sure.
I was like, I haven't seen that in such a long time.
Yeah, me neither. So a little bit about background. I wanted to talk about that because Japanese horror in general is a big interest of mine. But so Samara herself is based on Sadako. And so that's like what the original Ring, the 98 version, is based on, which is actual Japanese lore. And so her name was Sadako Takahashi, and she was thought to possess Ninsha, which is that photo burning images thingy that we've already talked about. Oh, yeah, but so then the other ring has 3, like the original Ringu has 3 creations as well. Okay. Speaking of which, Rings, the third of the Americanized version of the Ring, was so bad. I turned it off 10 minutes in.
I
literally that little plane scene. Oh, yeah. The first, that was all I saw. All I know that happens in that movie is that there's a plane and the acting was shit that I was like, fuck this. Turned it off.
Sometimes you just have to turn back.
Yeah, I did not make it more than 10 minutes at all. And I was just like, this is trash.
No, I didn't watch it, but what I do know is that it does try to delve in deeper and giving like the backstory or giving more, into Samara's life and childhood kind of thing. Which I did kind of brush up on, which it is kind of interesting, but
I feel like the movie did a pretty good job of covering that itself though already.
Yeah, I feel like the Ring in itself is fine as a standalone. Like it didn't need Ring 2 and Ring.
I will say that bathroom scene in the Ring 2, which I haven't watched that one in forever, but I remember there being that scene where she's in like a public restroom or something. And I think that is part of the reason why I don't like to go to public restrooms alone. I'm always like, some little bitch. Sketchy. And then there's that, there's another Japanese lore about the third stall on a third floor, like in a bathroom of like a school. It's kind of like a Bloody Mary thing. And her ghost will appear. I forgot her name.
There's so much Japanese like horror lore stories. Like
they're good at it. But so as we were saying, what's her face?
Sadako.
Yeah, I was like, where did it go in here?
Sudoku.
Sudoku. Oh, okay. Well, this one goes on to kind of a different bit of a story here that I've got, actually. It says, I guess this is like kind of the original. It says Japanese samurai and an ill-fated servant girl about 300 years. And it says Himeji Castle, I might have said that wrong, I'm sorry, is Japan's largest, and behind its walls many years ago, it is written that a great crime took place. One of the heart. But a samurai named Tessen Aoyama was smitten with this servant girl named Okiku and wanted her as a mistress, but she didn't reciprocate the affection. So then he was like, well, I can't have you. No one can. And so he was trying to hide her and shit. And like, oh
God.
And he latched this whole plan. And so the royal family tasked Okiku with protecting 10 golden plates. But then Tessen thought if he could hide one and tell her she lost it, Okiku, rather than face a death penalty, would love him instead. So he's like really just doing this whole big thing.
Orchestrating.
Yeah. But it says in one version of the story, Okiku, more willing to kill herself than love this man, threw herself down the castle's large stone well. And it says, enraged even after death, Okiku began to visit him at night. And it said that she was counting the plates. And so you can still hear her counting. But it says, clad in her white funeral dress, her long dark hair soiled and stringy, Okiku would crawl out of the well to visit the terrified samurai in the early hours of the morning. And she looked pretty much like the modern film version, is what it says. But these in Japanese, these ghosts are called yurei, a spirit just who's not at peace. But you can still go to this castle. And I was like, my brother and I are planning a trip to Japan. So I was like, oh, fuck, I gotta go. But so you can still go there. And they've actually like closed in this well because they're so afraid of her coming out. And so there's
very,
just
superstitious.
There's a whole covering, like they built this little, almost its own looking castle around her well to do that.
You think they would just slap some cement over that and cover it?
Yeah, exactly. Just be like,
and put a big "do not walk over this."
Yeah, or they could just build a little house over it.
Yeah,
like they did.
Cabin number 12.
Yeah.
Back to the movie.
Yeah,
but that is so like it's kind of cool how all that can inspire the translation into this movie and like bringing it into the new age kind of story with the VHS tape and like the video and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. I think you were also saying too, like how all the iconography is going throughout the movie, but also too like the theme of the horses throughout the movie too. Because even when she's like, what also really was like, I was like, whoa, is whenever she's on the ferry and she scares the horse.
That scene also fucked me up as a kid because I was like, no.
Yeah, and the horse jumps over her.
When its back legs hit.
Yes.
Ugh.
Literally the way it hits. That's honestly like, it doesn't show
Did I spill it on me?
it actually, you know, being killed, but you understand that it was killed by the propellers of the boats.
Yeah.
And you see all this blood.
And the little girl. Also, she was kind of pissing me off when she was talking to that horsey. Because I was like, clearly, bitch, this horse don't want to talk to you.
Literally.
Walk away from it. And she just goes, hey, boy. And I'm like,
She was gaslighting that horse at that
get
point.
away. I was like, girl, it don't want to talk to you.
You are the problem.
Leave it alone. Oh, I did spill it on me. Damn it. Hopefully matcha comes out of yellow.
That's a really cute sweatshirt, by the way.
Thanks. It's my favorite BBs. They're on my phone, too.
From what anime is that?
Haikyuu.
Haikyuu.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Okay. So this one also says Japanese, Onryo. And that is a long, black-haired, pale-skinned girl trope, and which is often in J-horror, like The Ring and The Grudge. So, and it's just vengeful spirits. Essentially, again, spirits who are not pleased with anything.
And they gotta let the world know.
Yeah. Oh, the scene when she falls down the fucking well. I'm like, first off, this bitch has been like hunting you, and then she's just like, ugh. When she's sitting there like holding her, I'm
body.
like, put her down. That's fucking nasty.
Yes.
Also, answer homeboy upstairs. He's trying to figure out if you're fucking alive.
Literally, while she's having this moment with Samara.
Yeah, and
then
she's
it's like
brushing the hair out of her face, and then she decays, and I'm like, oh my god. And she's just sitting there, and then she just lets her body go, floats.
Literally.
Bye-bye. Like, thanks. And
it was fun.
Fucking
the
fingernails.
That's what I was about to talk about. Oh, the fact that like her fingernails were still like perfectly manicured fingernails, just still in place
She
there.
Picks it up too, and I was like, oh. And then the scene. First off, the whole film itself, the tape, it seems like I feel like American Horror Story watched that and then was like, let's make every intro reflect this because it's got like the artistic effect behind it is all very good. I like it. The imagery that it like projects is unsettling as fuck. And like when the maggots turn into people.
And even when the camera, the way that it catches the ladder falling. Like,
as she's falling.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa. Like it's pretty good. Like when he was like, looks like a student art film. I was like, okay, well it needs a fucking, what are those?
Whatever they receive.
The art show, what's it? Sundance.
Yeah, there you go.
Give it a Sundance award.
For that 1 minute and something long. Also too, there's a scene where there's a scene whenever I think her name's, I forget Samara's mom's name. Anna. When she pushes her into the well after she like, you know, basically chokes her and then puts her down, and the way that whenever Samara's falling into it, like
she's very stiff.
Well, but like the camera, it's like she's I keep talking with my hands and you people can't see me talking with my hands, but she's falling into the well, but the camera pans up to the mom, Anna, and then it goes into the water, and it's like this really cool, just like the cinematography that he has throughout the whole movie, and even like the color scheme throughout the movie, how it's very blue and green, gray, like, and
dreary.
It's that, and then you never escape the feeling of like impending doom, like
the main color that aside from those blues and greens that shows through is the red. Yeah. For the burning. And then also that tree. Yeah. And it's like the only, and like it was also the color of the chimney when Aiden drew the little house and stuff. Like I feel like red was the only color that really stood out at all.
That could be like the juxtaposition of that. Like it's like the, like, I know what you mean.
Red is blood. Red is death.
Danger.
It's typically not associated with good things.
Yeah.
And so like when, you know, at the very beginning too, when she's sitting there watching the movie and the whole room pans red because of that tree, which I was like, first of all, bitch, that's not possible, but whatever. I appreciate your artistic effort.
Yeah. It did the job.
Yeah. I will say I remember being pretty surprised when the well was underneath that cabin.
Oh yeah.
And then I kind of forgot about that. I was trying to like, while I was watching it again, I was like, how the fuck is this well?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why do they keep coming back to this fucking cabin? And then the marbles, and I was like, oh, that's right. It's under there. I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice little full circle moment there.
Yeah. Oh, and when she coughs on the, sorry, I'm just like.
Oh, that part. And the cord.
Yeah. At first, like, I thought it was hair.
Yeah.
Which is one of my, hair in my mouth. No, thank you. Especially not some slimy little whale girl's hair.
Disgusting.
But it wasn't even hair. It was like a EKG or little monitoring cord that was just nasty.
Either way, that scene also too was one that was like, oh, okay. What's happening? I don't know. As like I think I was 12.
She's a pretty shitty mom.
That's why she gets called Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah, because then she like runs in there and I'm like, okay, now you only care about him. But I'm like, literally this kid is like packing himself up for school. He's going and he's more mature than you.
Yeah.
And I was like, because the whole time like she's just neglecting him. Well,
I feel like too, but I also feel like that's why I'm like, man, this dude had so many parallels on top of parallels, because it also gives the parallel of like almost a child you didn't want but didn't want. And that's how Anna was with Samara. Like,
exactly. So, when she asked the question right after they find Samara in the well, and she's like, all she wanted was to be heard. How could a mother do that, like, to her? I was like,
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
you kind of do that
to your own son.
I'm like, your son calls you Rachel for starts.
That's a disconnect.
And then he packs himself for school while you're sitting there obsessing over a fucking tape.
But he has also probably got some other issues too.
Yeah. I mean, he's been sitting there drawing his cousin dead before. And when the teacher's like, Aiden drew these a week ago. I was like, bum, bum, bum.
Literally.
I was like, ooh, this kid fucked up. And I don't know what it is, but the intensity that he's coloring that circle and then he just stops that is creepy.
Good little acting on that
kid. He did. Like, I was like,
he got the assignment right.
Yeah, I was like, you're weird as fuck, little boy.
Imagine he's like totally not like that at all in real life. Like,
but I don't know. He's got them crazy eyes.
Honestly, I can only imagine him with that kind of personality.
Honestly, yeah. I can't. He probably called his real mom Rachel too.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. So, movie. It was there's a lot going on. There's a lot of ideas in it. I really liked the imagery. I really liked. I mean, even She did a pretty good job, Naomi Watts. Like, it was pretty, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You could really feel like, although there were times where I was like,
there's a few moments for everyone where I'm like, like when she runs after she gets the phone call at the beginning and she's in the cabin and she like dramatically runs out into the field and is like looking around. I'm like, bitch, what good is that gonna do you right now? Like, No. Why are you running out of the house? Because you got a phone call that said 7 days and that's it. Like,
no other context.
Yeah.
She's like,
I was like, that was your immediate instinct. I understand what I'm like from a movie perspective, but like that makes it hard for me to believe because I'm like, okay, that's so like,
yeah, things that you catch on rewatching as an adult. You know? Yeah.
That you're just like, okay, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I will say the phone scene at the beginning though is kind of funny, like how Becca's playing with Kate and she's like, and then it's just her mom. Yeah, that was funny.
That'd be something I'd be doing too, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you fuck with your friends.
I mean, apparently people were doing that, but calling people.
Yeah.
When it came out too.
Traumatizing you.
Yep.
Oh no. So yeah. What else? There's something else that I wanted to mention about it too, but I'm trying to remember. I guess.
I do like each time how every time the whole her coming out of the TV screen. I know that Mike just he hates that, but I think they did a pretty good job with it because each time the video plays, like when Aiden plays it, you see Samara's hands come out of the well. And at the first time, you don't see that.
No.
And so each time she's getting closer and closer.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. And each time that a copy is being made, her power is essentially growing because her reach is growing. And so the like fly coming out of the TV screen and stuff, that is showing that like, hey, this is about to melt over into your world. Yeah. It is foreshadowing in her its purest form. Yeah. And each time you're seeing her get closer and closer as like they're getting closer and closer to unraveling the mystery, her truth is getting there. And ultimately her power is like, she's done her job. Yeah. And it's getting closer to that 7-day mark. Like there's so much that goes into it that just builds. And then she comes out.
Well, when she makes the Rachel makes the copy on what, like day 2 or day 3? So essentially at that point, because at the end we realize that she saved herself by making the copy of that video. So essentially she was out of the woods already by day 2. And so.
Which is interesting to me that because the burn and stuff still happened.
That she was still being, tormented. That's why whenever I rewatch it too, I was like, oh, okay. But I thought she would have been then.
Yeah, because I was like, she's safe now. And then I was like, why does she not know this? And then I was like, oh, right. Other boys got to die for this for the realization to dawn.
And so.
Also, really rude how she just let other girl go up there and discover his dead body without saying anything. I was
Literally.
like, bitch, come on.
Literally.
Ooh, sorry.
Oh, and then also going back to the little boy watching the tape. I'm like, Rachel, did you just leave this in plain sight for him to get?
I couldn't sleep. What? Why is he going around operating tapes at?
Well, and also too, I'm like, if she knew that what she was dealing with by that point, because that was day 4 that he watched it. I'm like, don't you like? Wouldn't you have hit it like
somewhere where he can't reach? Put it in like
I don't know, really
under your covers or something.
I feel like that thing was just literally already in there, and all he had to do was just push play.
Aiden, watch me.
Literally, please die. I don't want you.
She was a fucking terrible mom. Like she neglected him so badly. Oh, jeez.
Oh man, but going also too into how Samara's reach was getting stronger. And then she comes out of the TV because I did the looking into the Rings movie. And I believe what was happening, too, is that she was adopted, by Richard and Anna.
But then there's that certificate of live birth and it said their names on it. And so I don't understand.
It goes into a backstory where she was adopted, basically. And then the people who her parents one was a priest. And he
was always a priest.
Yeah, and he would keep her mother trapped in a basement underneath the church, and while she was pregnant with her, and then then she ended up being born and all this stuff, and then the mother ended up killing herself. I don't know, but that's the backstory. And so the whole story on that thing is, I believe she's trying to reach all the way so she can get back to the priest to kill the priest.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because they mention her being adopted, but then they pull out that certificate, so maybe they were just really trying to make her look like they were her kid.
The parents.
Yeah, but I was like, it says, because it's a certificate of live birth and it says Richard and Anna Morgan. It's a name on it, and then it says Samara, and so I was like, what? I'm pretty sure they don't make a certificate of live birth for an adoption parent. So I was like, I feel like maybe that was a little bit of a plot hole there. Because
but also then, maybe also too weren't. Yeah, maybe that's a plot hole. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, or maybe I misread it. I don't know, but because then he's like, she was never supposed to have a child, blah blah blah, and like the doctor though, like even says when she goes and visits that doctor and that kid's sitting there playing with the little thingy, and then again also spinning on a giant ring thing.
Yeah.
The merry-go-round, whatever those called. But the doctor's like, they disappeared and then came back with the kid.
Yeah, they just went on vacation and they had a kid.
Yeah, and so like, it's clear that she was adopted.
That sounds like they went and stole someone's child.
Yeah, a little bit. People do that shit too. It's fucking wild. But yeah, I mean, she had a pretty fucked up backstory, but it's like, I don't know. And then, okay, like how the 7 days plays in when she. When he's like, how long could you survive down there? And she was like, 7 days. You could survive 7 days. And I'm like, okay, you could probably survive longer than that or less than that. Like,
yeah, it's, you know.
She just happened to survive 7 days. But the like way that she delivered that line is like.
They had to tie it in. They had
to.
He wanted one more full circle moment.
Yeah.
7 days.
Exactly. And so I was like, okay. I'm going to read this paragraph from this article I found on Screen Rant, but I just thought it was really good to how it brings in the multiple meanings of the title. And so it says, the movie's title, The Ring, is polysemic. Hopefully I said that word right. I don't know. For starters, it refers to the ring that forms as the lid of the well, obviously, where Samara was imprisoned by her mother. Apart from the obvious interpretation of its meaning, it also alludes to the cyclic, or rather endless, nature of Samara's curse. As revealed in the movies, Coda, blah, 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 to remove Samara's curse, one has to create a copy of the tape, which then again starts the cycle back all over again.
Yeah.
And then it's just further spreading her curse into the world. But it also... Okay, so then the ring also alludes to the ringing of one's phone after watching the tape too. So I was like, oh.
I didn't even think about that until just now.
And so all that, I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, man, they really did a lot. Like, and then there's some that maybe these people were kind of reaching because they're like I'm talking about the people who wrote this article, not maybe.
Not the directors or movies.
It says like even the 7 days can allude to the book of Genesis.
That's what I was thinking too, of like more biblical.
Yeah.
So
scale. It just seems that this movie is like
there's a
just
lot
fucking racked with symbolism.
Symbolism.
And I had no clue.
And that too, I feel like that reaches a lot of people because when you put a lot of different kind of symbolism in it, like some person can interpret it this way and some person can interpret it that way, but either way you're reaching them in some form or manner that it's more personal for them.
Yeah,
so that's even scarier.
And the movie, like we said, was highly personal to both of us.
It was actually, I believe, 2002. It was rated 2002's most scariest movie.
Yeah, I mean, because at that time it was,
and it was only
PG-13,
scary.
And it's still scary today. Like I watched it this morning, and I went upstairs to go. And I know that the shower scene is in The Grudge, but I had to go take a shower, and I don't even have fucking long hair. But I was
Japanese lore,
I was like, oh my god, a little hand's gonna like come out of my. And then I think of Scary Movie when the hand like comes around and shaves the armpit.
Oh my gosh,
it's funny. It's a scary movie. It's one of them.
And, but what is her name? She's like, the TV's leaking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny. Anyways, but I was scared, and I got a new TV over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
And so that was sitting there, big, bright, and pretty. Like, and I was like, oh god, this bitch about to slump out of there and then come kill me in the shower.
Oh my gosh, Samara.
But yeah, so it scared me as a grown ass adult today.
Yeah, so definitely, it still has the same for me too. I think it's too the nostalgia part of it because I knew I was scared of it when I was younger, and then also too, it's just like.
I mean, at no point do I like jump, or did I jump? I think at all during the film. Like maybe
not
as
now.
a kid, when that girl's face showed, that really like shocked me.
That part for me too. I think I'm pretty sure I jumped or something.
But other than that, like, I mean, today I watched it pretty stone cold, except for yelling, bitch, get away from that. Or like when homie wasn't answering the phone and I'm like, boy, just answer the goddamn phone. Like,
Literally.
why you just letting it keep ringing and ringing and ringing? And like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like scary, like, blah, but it's
jump scares. Yeah. Because
in
there's
your
also
back of your mind scary that gets you
and
when you go to do
night,
a normal thing. Yeah.
that gets you when it's late at night and you're just in your bedroom and you think you might have heard a noise or think that something's kind of there over your shoulder.
And that's the kind of scare I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I give this a pretty high boo rating.
Yeah.
I would.
I would too as well. And also too, I was going to mention, do you remember that scene whenever she's on the balcony waiting for him because he's watching the tape? Which one? I'm like, again, Rachel, why are you burdening people with this tape?
Yeah, exactly. Like, she's like, I don't think you should watch it.
Like, but here.
Yeah.
She didn't fight that hard.
No, she didn't.
How you get back at an ex.
Yep.
And so, no, and she's looking out at the, I guess the apartment or hotel, whatever, apartments across the way, and everybody's watching their TV. Mm-hmm. So it's just such a parallel too on like, even us as our culture nowadays and media and how we're all obsessed with our TV. Well, not even TVs, but even just our phones, like screens in general. And just like we have to be watching something and then we get obsessed. And so I don't know, like it's still cool.
If this was to happen real life today,
it would be
literally the world
would
would be fucking killed. Yeah, almost instantly.
Literally, it's on TikTok, dead.
Yeah, all of us, because we'd be like, ooh, hoo, hoo, and then we'd be like, oh, fuck. It'd be one of those chain emails and it's real.
Literally. So yeah. So
that scene also, like, close your goddamn blinds, people. Yeah. What the hell? They're just walking.
It was 2002.
Around. I know. That's why I never leave any of my blinds open.
Yeah, and then you have to do them a certain way. Like you have to make sure that they're up, so that way people can't look down into your.
Yeah, exactly. See, be paranoid people like know. Us. I don't want nobody knowing my personal life.
So ratings? Good. Are we rating already?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, because we're probably around 40 minutes. I started the timer late.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like, wow, why does it feel like
we really busted through it?
Yeah, that's why I was like, I felt like we've been talking longer than that.
Yeah. There is so much just to unpack about this movie. I don't know. I really have a higher appreciation for it now. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I knew I liked it as a kid because it did a good job. It scared me. If I watched it as an adult today, I still think I would like the movie.
Like, this is something that I want as, like, so like, my nephew and my nieces who are only, like, 8 and, like, 7, like,
watch this. Tell me how you feel.
Literally, like, I'm, like, but I could, oh, my gosh, my sister would be so mad at me.
She'd be like, you're the worst uncle.
Literally. But just because I know, I'm like, this is going to scare you.
It's going to fuck you up for life, just like it did
because you aren't jaded yet.
But, yeah, I would give it, I think, 4 out of 5.
I would also give it a good 4 boos out of 5.
4 boos out of 5. Has anything gotten 5 yet? I don't think so.
No, nothing's gotten 5. This has been the highest rating we gave something.
Really? Even over The Exorcist?
I think we
probably gave it 4 too.
It's probably 4, actually, yeah.
If I didn't say 4 then, I say 4 now. Because I feel like I can't remember like what my standards are. I have no
they're
standards.
They're none. It's just how we feel.
They're low.
Feeling in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll change.
Like
the nostalgia really plays a lot into this one. Like the nostalgia for The Haunting played in a lot for me.
Yeah.
Like objectively, the movie was not the best. But
and I think too,
for me, I liked it as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to hear about that haunting, you can go back and listen to episode ago and where we were discussing the haunting.
Leave episode 3.
Yeah. So
this is now episode 4.
And if you didn't catch that before this, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Shuffle?
Yeah. I can't stand people that play podcasts backwards.
Out of
like
order.
Start from at the current
and then go back.
And then go back. I'm like, it doesn't matter what kind of show it is. Everything builds on each other.
Yeah.
Listen to it in fucking order. You don't go watch a television series on like the most recent episode and then go
backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
I don't know.
No,
like
that would, yeah.
It's always bothered me. Like when people are like, oh yeah. And I'm like, like if I recommend a show to someone and then they're like, oh yeah, they were talking about this. And I'm like, how do you know that? You shouldn't have listened to that one. You should have listened to episode 1 that I sent you.
It's kind of almost melting my mind right now. You telling me like trying to watch a show. Like I'm trying to think of myself picking a show that I've never seen and watching it from the like final
Last
episode and then
backwards.
going back. Like
That'd be kind of interesting to try.
I'm like,
You'd be so fucking confused until you get to the first episode and you're like, oh,
yeah,
all kind of makes sense. Which I guess is how it kind of plays out, but it's just you're getting it in the wrong order.
You know what, guys? No shame. We're not shaming you
I
here.
am.
Caitlin is. I'm not. You listen to it however you need to. Oh, man.
Just listen.
Just listen.
Just listen.
That's all
and
we're asking.
Rate, review, and subscribe while you're at it.
Yeah, might as well.
Because that's give us, how many boos do you give us?
Literally, make all
5
the copies.
is the only answer. Yeah. Make the copies. Spread the word.
Spread our
curse.
Like,
spread our curse. Yeah, so solid 4 from both of us for The Ring, the 2002 remake. Mm-hmm. We definitely want to go, we've talked about already, maybe not for next week, but in the future watching the original Ring and kind of comparing the two. So we'll see. That could be next week. That could be 17 episodes from now. Who fucking knows?
You gotta stay tuned to find out.
Yeah, that's right. We are in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios. They have graciously hosted us for 5 ever, since long before here. But yes, so we're here. We love them. God bless. You can follow us on some social media platforms. And like by platforms, we mean one platform.
Instagram.
That's right. It's Instagram. And that is
at BooBaes
podcast. All one word.
And that sounds good. Thank you. Yeah. Stay tuned. Come back.
But you can also listen to us on
oh, yeah, that's right.
these platforms. So you can find us on Apple Podcast. Yeah, that's a word.
And on
Spoofy.
And
Spotify. Yeah. So you can find us on Spotify, Pandora, I believe, Stitcher. You can find us really anywhere.
Anywhere you get your podcasts.
There's no excuses. Just type it in, BooBaes Podcast. You'll find us. We'll be there. Waiting.
Haunting. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And our lovely theme music was made by you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
It's so good. With us talking over it.
Oh, man. All right.
Anyways, bye, Baes.
Bye.
Bye,
Have
Baes.
a good rest of your week. Bye, Baes.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast. Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.